Chapter 2002. Cutting off the two. For the next period of time, Chonggong and others stayed in the Deep Blue Kingdom. King Jin tells the history of the Deep Blue Kingdom and their important mission. I believe you should also know the existence of Drucker. These beings are the most terrible destabilizing factors in this world. Because of them, one civilized race after another has disappeared in the long river of history. The demise of the fourth and fifth generations has a lot to do with them. The angels who nurtured our race once participated in the Great War against the Druks and ultimately sealed them away at a huge cost. And we were asked to stay in this area to guard the Seal of Mammon, a Druk giant god. All the names of Druk giant god are translated as the names of humans. But now, the seal is loose. King Jin's face became serious. He should have broken the seal at this time, but due to the emergence of the Ihan civilization, he was forced to break the seal and escape. This is actually a great opportunity, because he needs to bear the punishment of the will of the creator Kagago, and he was injured by the Ihan clan and is in the weakest state. If we can take this opportunity to consolidate the seal, perhaps we can delay the time it takes to break the seal by several years or even thousands of years. That would at least buy us some peace for a while. To a Drucker, a few decades or even thousands of years is a trivial period of time. Perhaps it is just a sleep. But for the new generation, it can secure space for many generations to live and reproduce. They can't take care of the distant future and can only take care of the present. Xuanwu asked King Jinyu, "Your Majesty, what do you need us to do?" Xuanwu actually felt a little guilty because the strength of the three of them was far behind that of Prince Ji and the two generals of the Deep Blue Kingdom, not to mention how much help they could provide. At most, after going there, he would inform Huashu Kingdom of the situation and then cooperate with the Deep Blue Kingdom. But in that case, it would depend on the attitude of Shengjing District and Zhangyi. King Jin said to them, "Reinforcing the seal is a risky thing. We alone are not safe enough. So, I hope that your human power can help us. This is for the future of the entire generation." Zhang Gong took the lead and stepped forward, saying sincerely, "We will definitely convey your kindness to the upper echelons of the land people. In fact, we are also human beings on land and we are not people with a lot of say in a powerful country. We will work hard to promote this cooperation." King Jin nodded with satisfaction. He looked at Chonggong and liked this clever human very much. "Oh, Gigi has already told me about you. Longbow, you seem to have very powerful abilities, but you don't know how to use them." When Chonggong heard these words, a hint of gloom appeared in his eyes. "I am God's will." This ability symbolizes his self-confidence. He once thought that few people in this world could withstand his military brilliance. After he lost to Zhang Yi, his self-confidence began to disappear. It was an extremely embarrassing defeat, and it happened in front of many high-level officials from the region, which completely devastated him. From then on, his mind was filled with hesitation, and his heart was filled with anxiety and irritability. A series of reactions even led to his subordinates rebelling against him and losing control of the Northwest region. But then, the king pointed at him with his golden thumb and said, "If you don't mind, I can give you some pointers on your abilities." After all, this is a country where civilization has never been interrupted. Our ancestors left behind textbooks on the development and use of superpowers. When the elder heard this, his eyes flashed with an extremely fiery look. The king's gold must be very strong. If he can get such strong guidance, perhaps his abilities will be better developed. "Really? Your Majesty, I will never forget your kindness. I will definitely do my best to promote the Deep Blue Kingdom and the Human Kingdom to join forces." For the next period of time, Xuanwu, Suzaku, and the eldest son stayed in the Deep Blue Kingdom, absorbing the sun fruit given to them by King Jin, while King Jin gave the eldest son one-on-one guidance. The essence of the sun fruit is almost the same as the spirit of the ritual. The sun tree is a natural spirit-absorbing device. With it, the Deep Blue Kingdom became the overlord of the underwater world. After Suzaku and Xuanwu absorbed it, each of them had significant growth. But the eldest son was the one who gained the most. He was taken by King Jin to a vast, desolate area on the seabed, surrounded by wildly growing seaweed. Here, King Jin also showed his abilities. He transformed into a giant golden crab, his whole body shining with golden light, as if it was made of pure gold. The two giant crab claws opened and closed, making a sound like swords clashing. The reason why I am attracted to your talent is because your abilities are similar to mine. While King Jin was speaking, the crab claw on his right side opened with a clang sound and then cut the ground. There was no violent collision. The moment the crab claws approached the deep sea strata, a hole several kilometers long was cut in the ground. There was no sound or movement, no vibration on the seabed, and the cut was as smooth as a paper cutter cutting through paper. After seeing this scene, the head of the school widened his eyes. This ability is very similar to his I am God's will. My ability is called Cut in Two, and I can cut anything in two. This seems to be different from your ability, because your ability is to split the designated target within the space range from the spatial dimension. In essence, your ability should be higher. However, you haven't used your ability to its full potential. The chief listened carefully, holding the saber in his hand. Please give me your instructions, your majesty. King Jin said to the elder brother. I don't want to say something high-sounding like, there are no useless superpowers, only useless superhumans. However, the strength of superpowers has a lot to do with the degree of development of the superpower itself. He raised his crab claws, showing off his body that looked like it was made of gold. My strength comes from my sea beast form. Double Severance is a supplement to strengthen my attack ability. I will not rely on it completely. Even if I don't use the ability, I am still strong. When you fight, you rely too much on your supernatural powers. There's nothing wrong with that. If you can use your abilities to their full potential, it can be considered a form of leadership. But you haven't fully developed your abilities. Chapter 2003 Moon in the Water. As he spoke, he kept opening and closing the golden crab claws, like two giant golden scissors, making clicking sounds. Now try to fight me. Unleash your abilities as much as you can. It's okay. Don't worry about hurting me. I will only use my body to fight you. I won't use dual cut. King Jin was extremely caring towards Li Changgong, because with his strength, it was no problem for him to kill Li Changgong in seconds. Li Changgong was touched. King Jin was like a swordsmanship master who was instructing him, the younger generation. Well, your majesty, be careful. Li Changgong immediately drew out the two long swords from his waist and launched the Feiyun step underwater, which immediately shortened the distance between the two. I am God's will. The blade was aimed at King Jin's body, but he still retained basic etiquette and did not aim at his vital points. The blade cut through the seawater very quickly, but King Jin was even faster. Despite having such a huge body, he was able to swim easily in the deep sea. He just did a very simple move, which was to avoid the edge of Li Changgong's long sword. The only real threat posed by Li Changgong was the arc traced by the blade of his sword. By avoiding the blade, Li Changgong's threat will be greatly reduced. Keep going, keep going. Your sword is your weapon, but your speed is too slow. How can you hit your opponent? King Jin scolded. Li Changgong's eyes narrowed. After being scolded like this, he immediately intensified his attack. The speed of swinging the sword was faster, but it was completely unable to keep up with the speed of King Jin. King Jin used the side of his crab claws to slap Li Changgong. Boom! The seawater surged, and the crab claws attacked too fast, more than 10 times faster than Li Changgong's knife. His body was blown away by a huge force. Fortunately, King Jin retained his strength and did not smash him to pieces. See, this is your problem. Your basic strength is too weak to fully utilize your powerful abilities. Your attack method is too simple. A surprise attack may work wonders, but once your opponent has mastered your abilities and dodges your first attack, you're doomed. You should be a killer, not a frontal fighter. King Jin's voice was like a huge bell. And I don't worry about my ability being leaked out at all. This is the difference between you and me. Li Changgong managed to steady himself at the bottom of the sea. After hearing King Jin's teachings, He gritted his teeth and said unconvincedly, "You have a great talent, and the sun has enhanced your strength. Just this body is unstoppable. And I am just a mortal." King Jin looked down at him and said in a cold and deep voice, "Then use your brain. If you really want to rely on your ability to kill with one strike, is it because you haven't developed your ability to its limit yet?" This sentence made Li Changgong open his eyes wide suddenly, as if he had been enlightened. However, he suddenly felt that as long as he improved his sword-drawing speed, he would be able to make a huge leap in his strength. But he is not a strengthened mutant, and no matter how much he trains, he is fundamentally different from those monsters. Relying on technology and armed with armor, he is no match for Zhang Yi. But he has never doubted that I, God's will, have the most powerful attack and killing ability in the world. But why can't I am God's will be upgraded? Does it have more potential? Li Changgong fell into deep thought. Seeing this, King Jin did not continue to fight with him, but returned to his mermaid form. Think about it carefully. The key to developing abilities is to use your mind to think. Even the simplest abilities can be used in endless ways as long as they are developed. After King Jin finished speaking, he suddenly raised his crab claws. In the direction of the sky, bright moonlight suddenly appeared from an infinite height, shining on the deep sea. Li Changgong was stunned, wondering what kind of technological capability this was. A full moon was reflected in a pool of water in front of him, and the full moon was shaking. King Jin pointed at the moon and said to him, "Look, no matter how sharp your knife is, can it split the moon in the water?" Think about this question carefully. If you can figure it out, then I think your cultivation will end. He left Li Changgong alone to think and practice. Li Changgong thought for a long time. He knew that he was facing a big choice. The road ahead was confusing. Only by firmly choosing a path to follow could he become a strong man. Take Zhang Yi, for example. From the very beginning, Zhang Yi knew clearly what he wanted. Almost all of his abilities were focused on defense, and only when his defense reached its limit would he be able to develop offensive attributes. If you want everything, you will end up with nothing. Li Changgong fell into a state of deep thought. For several days in a row, he held his knife and pondered his future in the desolate seabed. Li Changgong sat in front of the pond, facing the bright moon in the pond for 3 days and 3 nights. The mermaids of the Deep Blue Kingdom were very enthusiastic, probably with the mentality of looking at a rare beast. Many people came to watch the fun, but they were all turned away by Prince Ji. However, he, Ming Hai and General Yu came over to see if Li Changgong could break through his limits. After Xuanwu and Suzaku absorbed the sun fruit, they also gained some insights and came here to see Li Changgong's progress. Seeing the moon in the water, Suzaku's eyes widened. Does this make sense? Why would there be puddles on the ocean floor? Li Changgong heard Zhu Chue's complaints and pointed to a place not far away. Look over there. Zhu Ke and Xuanwu looked at the reflection and saw several people sitting around a fire roasting something. It turned out that after watching the show for a few days, Prince Ji, General Yu, and General Hai were bored, so they started a fire not far away, skewered rice cakes with wooden sticks, and roasted them to eat. Does this make sense? Does this really make sense? Suzaku was too tired to complain anymore. Don't worry about the details. As Li Changgong spoke, he continued to lower his head, staring at the moon in the water, and then wondered how he could split the moon in the water. Zhu Ke was really curious. He stared at the pool of water for a long time but couldn't figure out what it was. He just felt that it was clearer than ordinary seawater. She walked towards the fire where the prince was offering sacrifice to the 3 people. When I got closer, I could hear the conversation between the 3 people. At this time, the language of the mermaids had been recorded into the intelligence system and they could communicate normally. As soon as I came over, I heard General Yu complaining. Dear viewers, thanks for staying with me. We'll try to get you more updates. Please like and subscribe and share the video with your friends. Love you all.